All right, it is Mail Call Thursday. It's time to answer some questions. I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
Indeed, you are.
Yeah.
And we are the Podcasting Dead. This is the podcast where once a week we answer listener questions because sometimes you guys have a lot of them and we love them. So before we begin, of course, I've got to do a little promotion just to get this out of the way. So just hang in there and we'll get to your questions. First and foremost, we are definitely now on Spotify.
Oh,
so
that's exciting.
It's sometimes, though, I don't know if it's their algorithms or because we're new, but sometimes it's hard to find us by the name, The Podcasting Dead. So if you want to find our channel on Spotify and subscribe to it and listen there, unless you're listening on Spotify now, you go to Spotify, find an episode name, and search for that under podcast, and then we'll come up, and you can subscribe to our channel that way. Hopefully, we'll also be on iHeartRadio and iTunes soon. We've submitted our podcast for review, and hopefully we'll get approval here in the next few days, and we'll be available everywhere. But in the meantime, regardless of where you're listening, please consider subscribing, and always, always, always punch that like button. It helps us out a ton with different site algorithms and us getting seen. And finally, don't forget to check out our Patreon. We've gotten up. We're trying to get to 20. I mean, we want to get obviously well beyond 20, but 20 is our goal before we give away our cool, sweet prize pack, and we're more than halfway there. Remember, even if you put in $1 once, you're still registered to win. So patreon.com and search for The Podcasting Dead. There should be a link in the description, but if that acts a little funny, you can just go to Patreon, search for it, find us, and even if you don't make it to the Patreon, we still love you, and you're still helping us out a ton just by listening. But if you could still remember, please hit that like button. So without further ado, JP, you got some mail call questions?
Yeah, I got a few here. We actually got quite a few this morning.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Hey, maybe we'll keep mail call after all.
We might do it. Kim Younger, mail call. You are about to get into a fight. What song comes on as your soundtrack? Love all the podcasts. Keep up the great work. That's a great compliment.
It is. Thank you so much. If we're being serious, probably Pastor Troy's Vice Versa. That song goes hard, man. But in reality, it would probably be something silly. I'm trying to think of a funny song that. Jizz in My Pants by The Lonely Island.
God,
and then I jizzed in my pants.
You're bad.
What's your song going to be? You're about to get to fighting, and then your song plays. What will that song be?
I know what it is, but I can't name it.
Sing it then.
I can't hear it. Have you seen the movie Observe and Report?
Yeah, I feel like I have.
Seth Rogen. It's the scene in the mall.
Where he's the mall cop.
Right.
It basically was like a darker Paul Blart in a way.
I never watched
Paul Blart. Or more
Paul
adult
Blart.
Paul Blart. It's not good.
Observe and Report's my favorite Seth Rogen movie. And he's in the mall and he gets in the fight with all the cops. And when I was reading The Walking Dead, I forget what issue, but it was at the end of No Way Out, where all the zombies flood into Alexandria, and they have to fight after Carl's got his eye blown out and everything. And that was playing in my head as I was reading the comic, and that's what would be playing. But I can't remember the song, so I'll get back to that. I'm sorry.
At the risk of sounding like a hard ass, which I'm not, but like I said, probably would be Pastor Troy's Vice Versa. But
I ain't never heard that.
You never heard that?
Well, maybe I have and just don't know the name.
That song goes hard, man. It's old. It's really old, but it's really good. But yeah, that or more likely though something silly like I don't know. That's a good. I've never pondered that before.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for the question. I'm just going to go with Pastor Troy Vice Versa, which it's probably true, but I didn't. I wanted to think of something silly, but I'm just going to go with that.
There you go. Jovi Gal, our favorite Kiwi, says we're getting Taco Bell here soon. Well, probably in Auckland, a good 8 hours away. I might try it next time I'm up that way. I think my favorite...
Wait. She would have to drive 8 hours to eat Taco Bell?
To eat Taco Bell.
That's horrible. Poor thing, Jovi. That sucks, man, because Taco Bell is... A question for her, unless she says it in the comments. And if she does, you tell me. Question for you, Jovi Gal. Have you never eaten at a Taco Bell before, ever?
Whew, that is
it's a scary reality to imagine oneself living in.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Jovi Gal lives in New Zealand. So an international fan. We love her. She goes on to say, I think my favorite Tarantino film would either be Natural Born Killers
That is a good
or
one.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction, I wanted to say when we were talking about, once I think someone asked us last week, right, what our favorite Tarantino film was.
Exactly.
I wanted to say Pulp Fiction, but I just felt like that was kind of the go-to answer for most people because it is kind of like his best work.
It's his masterpiece. I'll say that every time, and it's hard not to say that's your favorite, but I still just I keep going back to Reservoir Dogs. Just it's raw, the music.
It's great, yeah. No, I definitely Pulp Fiction, and like you said, it's his masterpiece. It's definitely his best work. So, I mean, obviously that, but, still, one of my other favorites is The Hateful Eight, man. I just love the dynamic with those characters. And like I said, Django, I loved Kill Bills, man. Volume 1 and 2, man. I loved it.
I've actually heard that he's talking about a Kill Bill Volume 3. It's very,
no kidding.
It's very like hypothetical at this point, but he has, talked to Uma about it a little bit. So who knows?
She likes to dance like Uma. Have you heard that song? She likes to dance like Uma Thurman.
No, I've never heard it.
She likes to dance by.
But I hope he gets out of his head this ridiculous notion that he should only do 10 films. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
he's an odd guy, so I'm sure he's probably fixated on that.
Yeah, I mean,
how have you never heard this? You ready for this?
I'm nervous now. This is a crazy song.
Cut off the. What's happening? Oh,
that's not on my end.
Is that mine?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is mine. Okay. All right. I can't believe you've never heard this song. Ready? Sorry, you have to sit through an ad.
Oh, I was gonna say,
It's got.
That's it?
Yeah, you've never heard this?
Oh, of course I have. And what's it called?
It's called Uma Thurman.
Oh, I didn't know the name, but yeah. Dude, they used to play this on the soundtrack at work in the grocery store. This got played like 4 times a day, man. Oh, take it away. Take it away.
Hold on.
Oh, God. I might throw up.
Yeah, I got kind of burnt out on that song, too, but I just was surprised at first that you never heard it, because it's definitely throwing some callbacks to Pulp Fiction there.
No, I definitely. Like I said, they played it on a loop.
Really? That was so that was part of the grocery store, like their radio station.
Yeah, man, Food Line was pumping that a lot.
Interesting.
They probably still do. Bastards.
Interesting. Sorry for that. I just when JP said he hadn't heard that, I just had to show him.
All right. Jovi Gal goes on to say, mail call. If you could read minds, how would you use the power?
To make money.
I was going to say, I'd get money and I'd get butt. Money and butt. It
would be kind of like a You Got Mail type thing, right? Was that? No, that's not You Got Mail.
What Women Want.
What Women Want. It'd be like you would know, like, even a girl that's not into you, you'd be able to know her thoughts and know what she didn't like about you and adjust,
Yeah, man. Not to mention, like, I'd want to almost be like Professor X, to where I can just dive into your mind and, like manifest myself in a memory, and just be there watching you, getting it on all the time.
I'd use it to make money, and then I might become a lawyer or a judge just because I would know whether or not someone was guilty. Like, to become a judge, and that's part of the money thing, too. You'd make a ton of money. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of like how Matt Murdock's such a great lawyer because his senses can tell if you're lying or not.
Right.
Yeah.
It's something like that, like lawyer, some kind of system of justice is what I would get into, because then you would know for sure who was innocent and who was guilty. Yeah. So if this guy really murdered this person, then you can get him locked up.
Man, I'd be getting a lot.
Would people know that you could read minds, though? I mean, are we imagining they don't? Because, if people knew, then I guess you wouldn't even have to go to school. You could just get a job as a judge. But
yeah, I think it would be your little secret, your dirty little secret.
Yeah, then I would go to law school or either become a police officer or some position where I was able to determine someone's innocence or guilt. So that way also to keep innocent people from getting locked up. I just watched that documentary on Netflix called Confession Tapes or whatever. They had one. They had something about the confession tapes with Ted Bundy. This wasn't that. This was like instances where people had confessed even though they didn't commit the crime because of law enforcement pressuring them and deceiving and yada, yada, yada. So seeing that, it would be great to be able to stand up for those innocent people as well as put those bad people away.
Gotcha. All right. Joan O'Keefe. I don't know if I've read a comment from him before. Maybe.
Joan O'Keefe? I don't think so. Don't sound familiar.
Mail call. Are you boys fans of Invincible? Are you keeping up to date with the new series and movie news? Love the Mail Call podcast. Cheers. Jono, another Kiwi for your collection. Oh, man, I love New Zealand. We're going to have to go there.
Yeah, I'd love to go to New Zealand.
Yeah, me too. But that's actually one of the big comics I haven't read. Haven't read it at all, so I don't know if you have.
I haven't. I know that it's very highly revered. I've definitely considered buying all the trade paperbacks just to...
Yeah, just one of those things haven't got around to.
Yeah.
Can't get around to everything.
I want to. I definitely, know it to be a really good series. So
you can get the first hardcover, next door for half off.
Yeah, so I might do that.
All right. Thank you, Jono. I hope I'm saying your name right, and we love our Kiwis. All right. Gage Waltner. We love old Gage.
Hey, Gage.
I mean,
How you
love
doing,
all
pal?
the listeners. But, Gage, mail call. Hey, guys, I wanted to ask you about what you like to do on weekends, on your days off. When you leave work and are driving home, what's the first thing you are excited to do? Also, JP, are there any updates on the girlfriend situation?
Yeah, your girlfriend.
We will keep your secret. Thank you, guys.
Well, now she started kind of listening to these, so you kind of have to fess up that she's your girlfriend.
She listens sometimes.
So there's no turbulence at home,
Oh, turbulence. Shoot, there's always going to be turbulence about something.
When I get, actually, JP, I was just hearing it. When I get in the car, one of the things I look forward to, again, there's this channel called Lazy Masquerade on YouTube, and he does narrations of like Reddit stories and most of everything I think he reads, most of it supposedly is supposed to be true. I mean, he has no control over it. He just gets the post from Reddit. But you heard him. He's got a great voice, and his narrations are awesome. I listen to those all the way home and to work because when you're like JP and I and you're around music all day, some days you need, as much as I truly love music, you need a break from music.
Yeah.
So I look forward to getting in my car and listening to one of his videos.
Close to my ankle weird.
But what's your thing you look forward to when you get off work? The gym too. I very much look forward to getting off work and going to the gym.
Well, I don't guess anyone wants to hear this, but I used to enjoy going home and
Dear God,
just cranking one out, just self-gratification. I mean, I'm being serious. I mean, it just all the anxiety from the day. It's more of an anxiety release than anything. Just cranking it out and bam, and then my head's clear, the anxiety's gone, and I'm just keeping it real, brother. But as far as the weekends, like I get a day off, I love to drink a couple beers like in the morning before it's even like noon. Like I get up, I kind of get going, I drink a couple beers, get that good morning buzz, and cook some breakfast, kind of get to doing whatever I'm going to do around the house. Maybe take an afternoon nap, and then, kind of I'm rejuvenated. The day started all over again, and then I decide what to do from there. So, yeah, and the Germans actually have a proud tradition. I forget what it's called, but they'll drink, and it's usually like a wheat-based beer. And they'll drink it around 9 o'clock with like their breakfast, and so yeah. But yeah, I do. I like to get a little drunk in the mornings on Saturday.
What do I like to do on the weekends? Man, there's so many things. My main thing that I love to do, which right now it's been a little bit too hot to be honest. I mean, we've been having like 100-degree temperatures consecutively. But one of my favorite things to do on the weekends is go hiking. Like I love to go find a mountain and just climb that sucker. I've taken JP with me before. It's been fun.
Yeah,
hopefully I can get him with me, get him to go back with me once it's cool. Right now it's just not. It wouldn't be that enjoyable. It's so hot. I mean, I still plan on going here in the next weekend or two, but since we had the baby, I've been home more weekends than not. But I love grilling out. Now, one of my absolute favorite things to do as a laid-back evening is get my friends over. Like I'll have friends come over for no special event or anything, and we'll drink, I'll grill, we'll eat, and then we'll play like some games or something. As you get older, it's easier. You know what I mean? Like when I was younger, I had to go to clubs. I had to be going out every weekend, and I still enjoy going places like to a brewery or something. But more often than not, we have a lot more fun when we just either come to my house or go to one of my friends' houses and like grill out and play some games and have some drinks and take some shots.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Gage. I kind of disregarded your portion with the girlfriend situation. I'm not gonna lie, I miss having a lot more me time to myself, time to just
crank them out, right?
Yeah. I mean that's definitely something that's kind of
If If you listen to the
back
podcast
burner.
regularly, you understand how important cranking one out is to JP.
Yeah, as I said, it's less a lustful activity than just an anxiety relief. But yeah, like I'm not just not having that like just time in my own head. Like I'm not periscoping as much. I mean, she's wonderful in a lot of ways, but there's
it's always that adjustment. I mean, I feel your pain, man. I had you saw my apartment. I had that sucker to myself for 5 or 6 years, and then you go from that to someone's always there, pretty much, and you just don't have the freedom to,
Yeah, and it's not like I want freedom to go out there and get wild. Like I said, I live in my own head so much, and it's weird having someone kind of perpetually in that space. And I'm still I'm still trying to determine if like companionship is even for me. I really don't know that I'm programmed for it.
Some people aren't.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
So we're getting to the bottom of things. Also, there's the age gap, and she's young and progressive, as you can imagine. Like we were just talking, she put something on her Facebook. It's like cropping Hitler's face into President Trump's face, and like I don't mind like criticize, don't like the whatever, but just I don't like compare. If you're going to compare someone to Hitler, I think there needs to be a really, really, really strong case, because trivializing the Holocaust kind of rubs me the wrong way,
Right, millions of people died, and like you said, I can understand.
I know
that.
I know what's going on at the border is not like a pretty situation for anyone involved, and I feel for all parties involved. But as far as I know, they're not like herding them into showers where poison gas is coming out of the shower heads, and
mass graves,
and slave labor, and pushing people into ovens, and all that kind of stuff. So and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but just stuff like that does kind of irk me. I mean, there's plenty of criticisms you can make on the president that hold water. I don't think you need to go down the path of just he's a Nazi and you're a Nazi.
That's just the common argument. It's like Nazi, and then that's it. And it's like Yeah, I feel you. I mean, it's like if you don't like him, you don't like him. Say he's a terrible president, and you can't wait until we get him out of here. What an awful, I hate that. Whatever, but it's like, man,
I mean, there's plenty
of
extreme.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, plenty.
That's like I equivalate that to the rednecks that were calling Obama a terrorist. Right? Like he's not a terrorist, man. You don't like his policy, and you don't like him, but. I mean, at the end of the day, that's an extreme criticism to make just because you don't like him, or because he has some roots outside the country. He's got the foreign in his family. It's just instantly terrorist, and it's just like I feel like those people remind me a lot of the people with Trump that are just like Hitler, and it's you don't have to like him. You can make.
I wish I could. God, what was that? That country, like African Muslim country,
Kenya?
You spent a lot of time. Maybe it is.
Was
Kenya.
it Kenya?
I can't remember, but.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you, and too. I hate politics as it is. I'm fortunate to have a girlfriend that she's smart. She understands politics, but she really doesn't. She's like me. She really doesn't. Just don't feel like the headache.
I do like. I appreciate I think it is important to be informed and have strong stances. But like I said, just when you're going on with this group think that a
lot of people on both sides, conservative and Democrat. I mean, the conservative and liberal definitely just both are very groupthink. They just follow what the crowd tells them to hate, and they love what the crowd. It's bad. I've said the two-party system is just a bane on society. But
yeah, man. And then, I mean, they want to like glorify like Che Guevara's, and they don't even realize communism's responsible for more deaths than Nazism. I mean, both. I'm not a fan of either one, but it's just it's a lot of stupidness out there, and that's not even a word.
But so
I'm pretty dumb.
So
anyway.
So basically, that whole digression was basically you're saying sometimes it's hard to just bite your tongue.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I don't really care enough to have a conversation about it.
Right. That's why I am. Exactly.
Yeah.
But no. But yeah. So that's what we do on the weekends. Like I said, hiking's probably my favorite thing. My favorite thing to do on the weekend is just to wake up. I get up early too, man. Mm-hmm. Like I'll get up at like 6:30, which is
Oh Lord,
fairly early. I'll get up and I'll get all my stuff together and pack my bag.
For hiking.
And,
I thought you meant just like on the weekend.
No. I'm gonna sleep till at least. I'm gonna sleep till at least 8 or 9.
Yeah,
but pack my bag and then maybe go get breakfast or something, and then just enjoy a nice couple of hour drive to where I'm gonna hike. And I love taking people with me, but I'll tell you, sometimes it is nice when you're alone just to have, because I'm like yourself. I'm in my head a lot, so it is nice to have that time alone to kind of go through things and all of that. But
yeah, man. And fishing. I'm trying to get
kayaking, fishing, things like that.
I might be in the river this weekend, maybe.
It depends on the season, too. You know what I mean? Like, if it's dead winter, there's nothing to do but to go to somebody's house and drink. But during the summer, I like to kayak, fish, hike, go to the range. I mean, there's just a lot of different things out there to do. So, yeah, it's kind of my favorite thing to do.
All right.
Favorite things to do.
We went deep on that one, didn't we?
You really did.
a little bit. We love you, Gage. We love you. Agent X17 says, why don't you guys do top 10 worst Walking Dead comic characters?
We could. We did top 10 worst show characters. There's actually on our, if you go to our page, you can find a video we did a long time ago, top 10 worst Walking Dead characters, but that was show-based. But maybe we could.
Take a lot of thought.
It would, because a lot of the characters in the comics were great. I'm trying to think of terrible characters that I didn't like in the comics.
Yeah.
Anybody stand out? I really didn't care for Dante. Not because there was anything wrong with the character. He actually was a pretty cool character, but just because he's moving in on my boy's girl, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I guess are we talking about like characters we just thought were weak and didn't like, or
I think it would be like I wouldn't put Dante on that list. It would be characters, I guess, that we just thought were terrible. Probably a combination of things, like maybe they did nothing for the story, or maybe characters who held the group back. Something to that effect.
Sebastian was a terrible character in the sense it was a terrible person.
Herschel Jr. was a terrible character, even though he only came in for one issue.
But, I mean, that being said, I thought they were still well written and served the story. With the TV show, we could think of all kinds of awful characters just because it's had high points, it's had really low points.
Right.
But the comics...
Maybe we could do that. Yeah, maybe we could do that. Question to you. Why don't you let us know some of the characters in the comic that you thought were terrible, and we'll see if we agree. Like, put that in next mail call. We'll address that. We'll let you know what we thought about the characters that you hated.
Yeah. And Agent X17, let us know what other comics you're reading. We love talking to comic book heads.
We do. That we do.
Yeah, we'd love to churn out more content like that if we have enough people digging it. So, all right. Next up, Corey Andros.
Andros. I like the way you said that.
Yeah. Rolling the tongue. Impossible to pick fave Tarantino movie because they are all masterpieces.
True,
but I think my fave is Inglourious Bastards.
Wow. I loved it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot
Nazi
too.
scalps.
I think if there's ever a movie you hear people say they didn't dig as much, it's usually that one. So that's cool to hear someone say that was their favorite.
Me and some friends went to see it in theaters, and we loved it. And then we were talking to somebody like at a party or something, and they were talking about how much they hated it. And I was like, they were like, I just didn't kind of get it, And I'm like, yeah, I get that because it was really good. Yeah, I want my Nazi scalps.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, went into that just because it was the hot movie at the time, not being like versed in Tarantino style.
Right.
It probably did throw a lot of people off. So he hasn't made a well. I didn't like what was it, Death Proof or whatever.
I never saw that. Is that the one with Kurt Russell in it?
Yeah, it was part of the I went to the movies and saw Grindhouse, and I loved the experience. I loved Planet, whatever the Robert Rodriguez movie was. I loved that. I loved all the made up trailers in it. But like Death Proof, man, I
just won't dig in it.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't think I actually saw that.
Yeah, but anyway, save mail call. That's a hashtag.
Oh.
What is the weirdest / creepiest dream you can remember having?
Say that again.
What's the weirdest, creepiest dream you can remember having?
The weirdest, creepiest dream
I had a dream that, and I was a little kid, man. I still remember it. Freddy Krueger was just like, it was one of those things where like I've fallen, I'm on the ground, and he's just clawing at my leg, and I woke up and the cat was clawing the crap out of my leg. So that was weird. I had a really weird Rick and Morty dream the other night, but I can't remember a whole lot about it. I took some incoherent notes when I woke up, but
I don't know. I don't remember most of mine. That's the problem, is that I'll have dreams, but I don't remember most of them. I mean, I've had a dream where the devil was after me, and literally everyone on earth except for this one girl I know was possessed by the devil, and they were all looking for me, for the devil. That was pretty creepy. It was just an unnerving sense. And like I remember one point I was under this overpass and it was just almost like zombies, but it was just thousands of people above me, like searching for me.
Yeah.
And I was with that girl and we were being real quiet and stuff.
I think it really, and I don't do it. I try to, but it's really important to keep a notebook by your bed so you can chart your dreams. You know, it really is.
I told my dad that he needs to. He said he had a dream the other night that like he had his two of his grandkids, not mine. I don't have grandkids. I'm not old enough for that yet. But he said he had two of his grandkids in the room and there was something in the closet. He didn't know who or what it was, but he just remembered like the door opening and him trying to do stuff. I told him the same thing like just last night. I said, man, start keeping a notebook by your bed. I think I had dreams last night, but I can't remember what they were.
Yeah, man. I'm not just saying this to, be lewd, but I've had some really messed up like sexual dreams that I'm not even going to get into because I'd get really, that'd be the end of the podcast. I'd get super uncomfortable, but I have had some like waking up want to throw up kind of sexual dreams.
And I never had one of those.
Just leave it at that.
Never had one of those. I've had some wonderful dreams where whoopee time was about to happen, and then of course I wake up. Those are the worst.
Too,
like have you ever tried to go back to sleep to get back into the dream? Like you wake up and you're like, and then you close your eye. Because I have actually woke up and then fell asleep and went right back into the same dream. But with those, it never seems to be the case.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Like I've had a lot of dreams where I'm running from something or someone, and I can't run worth a damn. Like I'm weaving trying because I got no speed, and I've had sexual dreams where you get right up to it, and then you don't get in there. You don't get in there. It's just it falls flat, and that's the worst.
But yeah, I think that I remember that as far as ones I can remember, I also had one where me and a friend. I think I've talked about this on the podcast, but we go into this old abandoned house. Well, I say house. It was like an abandoned, like it was, I don't know, like a nursing home or something. But we're going through and it's all abandoned and stuff, and it's nighttime, and we find this one door that looks pretty new, and we go down it, and we get halfway down the hallway and realize there's people sleeping all around us, and they all start waking up, and I don't know why, but like in the dream, I guess we knew they had malicious intent, so we're running. And as we're running by people who were sitting up real fast and freaky looking, and then they chase us out. That was pretty freaky.
I'm telling you, man, it's only happened a few times, but sleep paralysis, I've experienced.
My dad was saying he experiences that
sometimes.
That is
awful. That is like being buried alive or something. And yeah. Oh, God.
Thank goodness. I've never had to really deal with that.
Yeah, man.
I have the sleep paralysis sometimes where I can't quite ball my fist up when I wake up, but never to where I can't like get up.
Yeah, which there was one time, man. Like I think I just had my wisdom teeth out, and I was taking Lortab or whatever they prescribed me. I think one time that might have like played into it, but there was a couple other times where it just happened, and it was awful.
That's a horrifying thing to deal with.
Yeah, man. But thank you for the question, Mr. Andros. Moving along, Brienne McCann, 6 days ago. Try this split in the gym. Chest and triceps, back and biceps.
Oh, yeah, I read that.
And traps, and then leg day.
I used to do that split. I've tried all kinds of splits. What it is, Brienne, is just because I was an idiot and did shoulders the day after doing arms, doing triceps more or less. I knew I shouldn't have done it, but I did it because I knew I won't have any other days to work out that week. So I was like, maybe I'll just go easy on shoulders, but I'll get an easy shoulder workout because I knew I won't have another day that week to work out, and I paid for it. But luckily, I've been working out since, and I've been last week I did arms on Monday, and then I did legs and abs on Tuesday, and then when I'd say I did arms, I did shoulders, biceps, and triceps all together. And then on Wednesday, I did shoulders I can't talk. So arms, legs and abs, chest and tricep, back and bicep, just to get like a double workout for those. But and then I did leg day at the end of the week. And then this week, I actually did do the chest. I did arms, and then I did a back bicep. I did arms, and then I think I didn't work out on Tuesday. And then yesterday I did back and bicep. Today I'm doing chest and tricep.
Brienne says she has 16 years of bodybuilding.
That's insane. You got 16 years. I've only got I've got 4 or 5, but I'm not counting like high school and times like that when we lifted as far as just being an adult and lifting. But 16 years, yeah, Brienne, I might be messaging you, asking you for some workout routines.
There you go.
So I can shake it up so I don't end up getting plateaued there.
Yeah, and it's a little scattered, but Brienne's got a couple more, so I'll just keep it on Brienne, and then we'll move on to Zeke.
Sure.
So looks like a new commenter, so excited about that. Brienne also says, "Hey guys, my question this week is, JP, if you could have multiple wives legally, how many would you want?" And then we've got one for you. I'll go ahead and answer. I think the optimum number of wives is 0. I'd love to have a bevy of gals. Maybe 5 in a household would be reasonable, but I'd like to swap them out. Bring new ones in as need be. And I think that marriage could kind of hinder that. So I'm all for the polyamorous lifestyle, but bringing marriage into the equation, I'm not sure I'd even opt for that. But who knows? It could be necessary. And Justin, this is your half. What if someone wrote a story about you? Would you be considered a hero or a villain in your story?
Number one, Brienne, you don't assume that I would like to have multiple wives too. Number two, I'd probably be the villain because I'm definitely my own worst enemy.
Well, I think Brienne knows you to be a man of honor, whereas I'm just, a scoundrel. So.
Yeah, we'll go with that then. Yeah. I'd like to think I'd be, if I was writing my own story, I think most people would be the hero in their own stories. Mm-hmm. But yeah, hero, unless you, like I said, count the fact that I am my own worst enemy.
Yeah. All right. Brienne also says, "I'll see Endgame eventually. I'm disappointed I missed out, but life got in the way this time. I'll let you know when I'm cool again."
You're still cool, Brienne.
Yeah,
just because you haven't seen Endgame, you're still cool.
Yeah, we pick it on you. I know I've been that way with certain movies I wanted to see and just didn't get around to it. So, all right, Zeke Numenaglu, they had to have picked that name just because they knew I would not be able to pronounce it. But a cool thumbnail that looks like Emperor Palpatine, I think. So Zeke wants to know, will Greg Nicotero direct the Rick movies?
That would be dope, but I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that either. So we will, as soon as we know something, we will relay the information. And by that time, I'm sure everyone will know. But anyway, Zeke also asked both of us, what is our favorite sex position? And I'm assuming they're not inferring that we have sex with each other, and they're asking what that would be. I think it, independently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping. But for me, it depends a lot on the person, man. I've had some girls that, they get up on top and are just not good at, riding, and this is a little weird. We've got our a sales rep in the office, and it's
not a question we get typically asked, so yeah. It's odd to answer.
But no, for me, a prone, where you're just kind of like the girl's on her stomach and you're like flat on top of her. That's the easiest way for me to achieve culmination.
Oh man, okay. All right.
He has, man. I'm putting it out there. Yes. That's the best way for me. But if you're really angry, man, just to smash him from behind, just doggy. I think that's a great stress relief.
All right. What's our next question?
All right. Let's see. Chris just says another great video. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, Jeep.
Oh, and I'll say the prone thing for me too. That's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, for me too. Like I said, that's usually the exclamation point. That's generally how I got to end things. I need maximum pressure for me. And like I said, we can. That's a whole podcast. We'll do a prone podcast.
I would prefer not to, but
I think it's it would be educational for everyone. All right, Jeep. I had 2 pit bulls come running up into my yard the other day when I was outside washing my truck. Luckily, I didn't freeze up. I grabbed the water hose and popped up into the back of the truck and turned the water on those SOBs until they took off. Mail call. Have you ever gotten yourself out of a potentially dangerous situation? I don't eat fast food much. I like Tardy's chicken tenders, but they shut all the ones around here down. Burger King is the worst, though. Last time I had anything from them, it was a croissant sandwich, and they had apparently warmed them in a microwave. Bread is gross when you do that. No kidding.
It is. You should try what I just had for breakfast maybe 40 minutes ago. Their breakfast burritos are actually pretty damn good.
You've been living off those BK breakfast burritos.
Yeah, they're delicious, man. That and the French toast sticks. French toast sticks are off the hook. But yeah, have you ever gotten yourself out of a particularly sticky situation?
I'm sure I have. I mean, shucks, that's a real thinker, ain't it?
I've had several, man. I mean, we'd be here all day.
You were just telling me last night. That could have been a situation.
Yeah, I just had a random person pop up outside my truck when I pulled up at my house, and I mean, like I said, it could have went way worse than it did, but I was ready for.
Yeah, and the way you said, like you're driving to your house and their car's just like in the middle of the street, like a residential neighborhood, and then you get in your driveway and you notice that car's basically followed you to your house. So I mean, it almost looks like a mob hit or something. Man,
needless to say, one was in the chamber and I was ready, and luckily, I'm not a shoot first, ask later kind of person. So I didn't even really realize that he had. Gotten behind me. I thought he had pulled behind, like started behind me, but I just figured, I didn't think nothing of it. But then, I didn't realize he'd pulled so close up. And plus, my truck, my kind of beat around truck sits about 4 or 5 inches high. I mean, it looks like a little mini monster truck. So it's like he pulls up behind me. And because he's so close and the tailgate's so high, I didn't even realize he had pulled up behind me, and I'm getting my stuff out my truck. And I just turn around, there's this guy standing outside my window. And then, he's mumbling something incoherent, and he's like, Shane. And I'm like, I don't know a Shane. Well, at first, no, I'm wrong. At first, he stood there and didn't say anything. It was like something out of a horror movie. He just stood there and didn't say a word. And after about 3 seconds of silence, I said, can I help you? Kept my window up and stuff, and he's just like, Shane. I said, man, you got the wrong guy. I don't know any Shanes. And he's like, oh, I got the wrong one. And he stumbles into my yard, but then he starts walking towards my house, and my girlfriend and my daughter are in my house. So, of course, I kind of crack the door open, and I'm like, hey, man, you need to leave. And he kind of just stumbles back to his car and takes off. And then I realized, though, that what de-escalated the situation quickly is I showed JP a picture. My truck, I parked one of my trucks in my driveway. I parked the other one out on the street. And this one was out on the street. I showed JP the picture. Like, it is pitch black around my truck. And then there's a street light behind it. And where the street light was apparently where he had parked. So as he's walking, I realize he looks familiar now that I can see him in the light. And it turns out it was my brother-in-law's best friend. Was drunk and got me confused with someone else, and was, I guess, just drunk and trying to party. But no, I mean, I remember one time in high school, it was one of those stupid things where it's like my friend was going to fight this other guy over a girl. And so, we were all in the back of a truck and heading to the ball field, and we were supposed to meet at this ball field to fight. And then but like, what's bad is they set us up. This is the first time I've ever gotten a trap spring on me, because we were all down at the ball field waiting for them, and they never showed up. So we're like, ha ha, pansies, whatever. What they did was they waited until everybody left and then blocked us on the way out. And, the guys, they get out and they're talking shit, and it's like 3 or 4 of them and 3 or 4 of us. And so we're all ready to go. And then next thing I know, I'm looking down the barrel of a gun. Dude. And the guy's just like, I could kill you right now. You realize that? And at first I want to be like, I'm not even the one in the fight. Why are you pointing this at me? But then, of course, me trying to be a hard ass. I'm like, yeah, man, it's spend the rest of your life in prison over a effing girl. I'm trying to keep language down. You spend your whole life in prison over a freaking girl who obviously doesn't want to be with you. That's genius. I'm just, and I made a butt raping joke. Ooh. Just because, I don't know, I crack jokes when I get in bad. So it's kind of like Spiderman in a way. Like, I should have been terrified, but all I could do was talk more schnit. But anyways, and he's basically, put the gun up and was like, if I ever see you guys again, or whatever, I'll kill you. And I'm like, well, I don't think so, because you probably would have killed us just now. And then he's like, you better watch your mouth. And then he gets in a truck and they leave. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. We almost died. That was the first time I had a gun pulled on me. But like I said, we could be here all day. I've had some weird experiences in life.
Yeah, I just try to stay around the house for the most part. So.
And I mean, this guy might would have beat my ass even without the gun. So I don't know why I went into joke mode when he pulled the gun out. I would have imagined I probably would have froze up, because I've been around guns my whole life, but I've never had one pulled on me. But just in that moment, I just felt like a wise ass. But yeah, that was one.
Yeah. Jeep. These situations happen, and hopefully we're all in a safe place right now and enjoying each other. All right, Heidi L. You have 24 hours and unlimited amount of money. There are 2 conditions. You are not allowed to keep or give away anything you bought during that 24 hours. Those things are gone after the time is up, and you are not allowed to buy anything for anyone else. What would you do? I would probably rent some very expensive luxury car and drive as much as I can, and because I would get hungry at some point, rest of the time I would try all possible ice cream brands and flavors I have never tried before. Okay.
So we have how much money for 24 hours?
You have just a debit card that never runs out.
And we can't keep anything that we buy, though.
You can't keep anything, so you can't buy like a house. Anything you bought during that 24 hours, those things are gone after the time is up. So, yeah, basically you got just like a 24-hour like spending spree, but you can't keep anything, so.
Well, then that would mean you would want to go on one hell of an experience for 24 hours because, like I said, like they said, like renting a car would be really cool, but I don't know, man. Like it's so many variables. Like if I knew, for instance, that like I knew this was coming on like a Friday, then like maybe that Thursday I would drive down to like one of my favorite places on planet Earth and I'd like rent a condo and order as much pizza and buy beer and just, you know, do stuff like that. I mean, I don't know because it just depends. I mean, if I had time to like fly overseas, well, then you got to figure out how to fly back because then you're there and you don't have any money. I don't know. I would just make a fun day. Maybe I'd go rent a boat, you know, and get a bunch of friends and go out on the lake. And
yeah, that like my whole thing is like travel time. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm thinking. But with only 24 hours, you really can't go too far. So that's why I'm thinking more stuff that's drivable, somewhere between like here, somewhere within like a couple 100-mile radius. You know, somewhere I could go. Like I said, maybe we'd rent a pontoon boat and get all my friends to go out on the lake and.
Yeah, because, I mean, my first thought was, you know, Amsterdam, drugs and prostitutes. But, I mean, the fly time, you'd lose, like...
Unless you were willing to pay to get there, and then you just had unlimited money while you were there, and then you had to pay to get back.
Yeah, if I could pay the, you know...
Just buy yourself a round-trip ticket, and then the day that you're there, just go. So maybe that might be the way to go.
Yeah. So, but, I mean, those 2 things would definitely be wherever I was, you know, would be the ticket. All right, Heidi L., we love your hypotheticals and keep them coming.
Yeah, we do.
Next up, Cindy Propusich. Hey, fellas. Turns out we have something in common with our pets. My first pet was also a collie named Princess, and unfortunately, she was stolen when I was 8 years old.
What kind of person takes, you know what I mean? Like, who steals somebody's dog?
That was also my first heartbreak. Fast forward to adulthood, and my husband and I at one point had 4 dogs and 4 cats. We didn't seek it out. It just sort of happened. Right now, our herd is a bit more manageable. Anywho, I loved last week's mail call so much that I'm sending you some more mini questions.
My girlfriend's mom, real quick, is a lot like that, Cindy. She has like 4. At one point, she's probably had like 6 or 7 dogs in the house and a couple of cats, but she does not go out and adopt them. Like a lot of times, it just happens. Like a dog will show up at her house and next thing you know, it's living with her, or there's a dog hurt and she nurses it back to health and then it lives with her. So she has a herd of dogs too, but none of them, and then 2 of them were like her daughters. So it's like she has a herd of dogs too, but in the same way, like she didn't plan to go out and get a ton of dogs. It just happened that way. And she works at a veterinary clinic too, so it's kind of instinctual for her she sees a hurt or sick animal to help it, you know?
Yeah. All right, now this is going to be a doozy. I hope you're ready. She's got a bunch of mini questions.
I love these. These are so fun.
If you're in the mood,
always.
Try and guess each other's answers. Love you and have a beautiful week.
Try to guess each other's answers. I like that. I like that a lot.
That's an interesting twist.
Let me get us 2 pieces of paper, and you're going to list them, and we're going to write down what we think the other one would do.
Oh, man,
and that kind of answers them too, because we'll go back and respond. So that just adds an extra layer.
Yeah, this is like one of those like 70s game shows, like the dating
like
game, Newlyweds or something. Yeah,
we're newlywed, JP.
Oh Lord,
what is this? Can we write on this? Yes, we can write on this. All right. So here you go. There's your pen and your paper. Bear with us while we get set up here. All right. I have got my pen and paper. So JP, you start, and what you're going to do, you might want to slide closer to the table so you can. Oh, unless you want to write in your lap, but you're going to write. You're going to say the question, and then you're going to write down what you think that I would say.
Okay.
And then I'll do the same.
All right, so I'm writing down what I think you're going to say.
Yeah, and I'm writing down what I think that you're going to say.
All right.
And then we'll go down the list, and then that'll technically answer her questions because, you know, I'll tell you what I thought you'd say, vice versa. Well, That's cool, Cindy. I like that, man. Keep stuff like this going, and we'll definitely keep mail call on the docket. I'll tell you what, we might scrap a Trending Tuesday. That's not getting any traction.
Yeah, we can,
I found a story. We might do a whole separate podcast about it. Get this while you're... Are you writing down the answers?
I thought that's what
You're supposed to say it out loud. Say the questions. I don't know what to write. I don't have the question. I don't have them in front of me. You got to say them out loud so that I can write what I think that you're gonna.
Okay, so I thought I was supposed to write what I thought you were gonna say.
You are, but you got to read them so that I can hear them. I got to write what I think you would say too, and I can't know what to write unless you read me the questions.
Right. So I shouldn't write the answers down first.
My thought was that you were going to read the questions and we both would write something down.
Okay.
And then you'd read another one and we write something down.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because you're just over there writing away. I'm like, hold on, man.
I'm just trying to streamline. Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
And this is I'm answering for you. You're answering for me.
All right. Number 1 at a movie: candy or popcorn?
So what do I think you would want? You know what? I know what you would want.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Ideally, it'd be both, but
that's what I was thinking. Yeah. I usually do both, but
me too.
If I have a choice,
both is not an option, so it's got to be either or.
All right. Next question.
All right. Jack Daniels or Jim Beam?
All right.
All right. Number 3: live action role play or online gaming?
All right.
All right. Vacation: domestic or international?
And have you already wrote all the ones down for me?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Number 5: more money or more free time?
All right.
All right. Spiderman or the Incredible Hulk?
All right.
Call or text?
All right.
Night owl or early bird?
All right.
Scrambled eggs or over easy?
All right.
Read minds or be able to teleport? That is wow.
What do I think you would do? Do you think you got yours right for me, like what I would pick?
Some of them, yeah. Some of them, because some of them we've actually talked about, fairly recently.
Is that the last one?
That's it.
This is fun. Let's do more of these. I love stuff like this. And actually, I'll tell you what, if we get more of these, then we'll do these at the beginning of the podcast. Because that's fun. All right. You ready?
I think I'm ready.
All right. So the first one was popcorn or candy at a movie theater, right? Mm-hmm. For you, I put that you probably would pick popcorn because you're not very big on sweets in most cases.
Well, I love sweets, but I mean, if you're at a movie, popcorn's the standard.
Would that be your choice?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I got it right.
I don't go in for popcorn much anywhere else but the movie. So yeah, if I have to pick, I'm gonna pick popcorn.
Okay.
With you, I've figured popcorn.
Yeah, that's always my first go-to. And then if I feel spiffy, I'll grab a little candy.
Like a little treat to balance it out. So there we go. We're 1 for 1.
All right.
All right. Jack Daniels or Jim Beam?
What'd you put for me?
I put Jack.
You're right, because that's one of my favorite drinks ever. For you, I put Jim Beam, but there was a reason why I put Jim Beam, because you're not as choosy with your drinks, and I feel like Jim Beam being a little bit more affordable, you would be like, I can get more for less, and it's not that different, so I'm just going to grab some Jim Beam.
Well, I did pick Jim Beam, but it's probably, I feel like it's like a little bit almost sweeter than
it
Jack.
is. It's not quite the same. It's a similar taste and similar, but it's just
whiskey.
So I got that right. You would have picked Jim Beam.
I do.
So we're 2 for 2.
I've rarely ever bought Jack Daniels, which I'm not a big whiskey guy anymore.
We're 2 for 2.
All right, 3: live action role play or online gaming?
For you, even though you don't do it, I picked live action role play just because you really have no interest in any kind of gaming or online. I feel like it'd be much easier to convince you to come over, drink some beers, and play some D&D or something than it would be to get you to log online and play a video game with us.
That's a weird one, man. I don't really care for either one. I don't even know. I've never done either one, so I really don't know which I'd prefer.
I feel like you would pick live action just because it's less of a headache. Like you don't have to have a game system. You don't have to hook into a TV.
And I have been talking about our buddy at the comic shop about doing D&D, which I doubt I'll ever actually do it. But So yeah, that's kind of a null set for me.
Well, I put live action. Would you say, like right now, let's just say you don't have a choice and you've got to do one of the two. Well, you do have a choice, but you can't not do it. You got to do one of the two. And I'm like, which one are we doing? Do you just want to do a live action role play right here? Or do you want to go to my house and hook up the PlayStations and play online? Which would you pick?
I guess live action.
I feel like you just go with the one that's less of a headache.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what did you put for me?
I picked online just because I know you game and you do this stuff, so...
That's right.
I know you have live action before.
And I've played some D&D before. It's very interesting. I was definitely not in my element with these guys because they were all about it and doing voices and stuff like that. And I was just kind of like, man, you guys are really taking this seriously. Yeah. But I did enjoy it. It was really cool. But ultimately, you're right. I would definitely pick online over.
Yeah.
All right, the next one's the one where I don't know if we're going to get it right or not.
Yeah, this is a tough one. This is a tough one for sure.
So, vacation, domestic or international? For you, I picked international because, I mean, if you had your choice, I totally feel like you would be going straight to Amsterdam or something.
Yeah, I mean, international for sure, but at the same time, I've never traveled internationally, so I might do it once and like be like, this was a nightmare, I'm never doing it again. So I mainly want to travel international just because I've never done it. And I think it is important to, get experience.
Well, I put international for you, so was I right or was I wrong?
Yeah, you were right. But like I said, that being said, it's really because I've never done it.
Right.
So it's just kind of a bucket list thing,
Right.
And for you, I just knowing that your favorite vacation spot, and it's a weird one because I know, much like myself, you want to do more traveling, you want to get out of the country. But just given that I know where your favorite place is, I put domestic.
You're right, because ultimately, I'm sure that I would love going overseas, and I know someone could say, well, you've never been. You might like somewhere more than that. But I have been on a lot of vacations here in the States, all up and down the East Coast, and even, well, I don't know if I've really vacationed much outside of the East Coast, but I've been to a lot of different places, from mountain ranges to different beaches to cities, and all of them are great. But still, Ocean Lakes is always just, it's my ultimate peace of mind. Like, I'm never more at peace than I am when I'm there. So you're right. You picked right. So we are 4 for 4 right now, right?
Doing all right. This next one's a wing dinger. More money or more free time?
For you, I picked more money because I feel like you would be like, if I had more money, I could create more free time.
Yeah, and I've had buckets of free time before, and I was very unproductive. So, yeah, I'll take the money all day long. And for you, I picked free time just because I know you're a get out there and go and do stuff kind of guy.
You're right. That's what I would pick. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love more money, but I mean, I would love to have if I made a comfortable living and I had more free time, I feel like I'd be happier than if I had a lot of money and no free time.
Yeah. All right, this next one, I think I might have got you pegged. I mean, not pegged with the butt phenomenon right now. But,
this was easy for you.
Spiderman or the Hulk?
For you, I picked the Hulk. The Hulk's always been one of your absolute favorites.
Yeah, man, I feel very, very much like the Hulk, especially when I get drunk and black out. It's just like a nightmare, and then I wake up and I'm trying to figure out what happened to my clothes. And
we've all been there,
all
brother.
That stuff, but I know you've always said Spider-Man's one of your faves, so I picked Spider-Man.
I was going to be offended if you didn't pick Spider-Man. He's, since childhood, been one of my, if not my absolute favorite hero.
Mm-hmm. Now, this next one is tough because it depends very much on the person you're communicating with, like call or text.
For you, I put text just because I feel like I feel like you are more comfortable just shooting a text than having a long hour. I feel like the only time you call me is if it's where it's too much to text. I feel like if you had your choice, if you could like snap your finger and it would all be there in a text, then you probably would just text it to me rather than call me.
Yeah, man, that's a very like situational thing. I mean,
what'd you put for me?
I put call just because I know I hear you talking to your friends sometimes in the mornings and stuff like this. So again, that's because I mean, like with my mom, I'd rather talk to her on the phone than call her. But like if it has to do with work, I'd rather just shoot a text.
Right?
So that one, that's a tricky one.
Indeed.
But number 8, night owl or early bird?
I think for you, I put night owl, which honestly, I'm not offended if you put the wrong thing for me, but we're both night owls. I have trouble going to bed. I mean, like last night, I was doing stuff until after midnight. I try to go to bed early, but a lot of times I can't, man. My mind races too much to go to bed early.
Yeah, honestly, I did put early bird just because I know you like a lot of like daytime activities, like hiking and the kayaking and stuff. And
that's true. I do have to.
I mean, you for what, like the past decade, you've had to be at work at like between 6 and 8 a.m. So
yeah.
It's one of those things
morning. What was it? Morning bird by night owl by a choice, but morning bird by city. So that's the only one you got wrong. But you're not wrong because I have had to be a morning person. But I've never gotten used to, or even when I go hiking, getting up's the worst part. I do not, because I can't make myself go to bed early the night before I go hiking.
Yeah, and a lot of that might just have to do with, just trouble sleeping, like just like me, a lot of times it's just trouble turning my brain off at night,
That's my problem. Like, I've still got stuff I want to do, or, I'm still working on something, or I want to go pull out my laptop and jump on this, or I want to go, watch this thing. So, yeah, I would definitely, in a world where I didn't have to be at work so early, I would definitely be more of a night owl than I would be a... Yeah. It gets on Caitlin's nerves because she'll be like, "Are you coming to bed?" And I'm like, I'm not tired right now.
Yeah.
So we only got one wrong. Not bad.
Yeah. Scrambled eggs are over easy. We were actually just having an egg conversation on the way back to the station.
You like yours scrambled?
Yeah, that's the only way I eat eggs. So yeah, and I just went with scrambled because you were just telling me how.
And that's the only other one so far you've got wrong. Now I prefer. I
do like them over easy.
Over easy is my favorite way to have eggs, but I eat scrambled more often than not because if I've got it's more than likely what most people want, and it's easier to fix a bunch of scrambled eggs versus a bunch of over easy. But I mean, you're not far off. Over easy, and if I can't get over easy, I'm just as happy as I can be with some scrambled eggs. I love scrambled eggs.
Yeah. And this last one, that's another humdinger. Read minds or be able to teleport. And, I was trying to figure this out. I know you like to, travel and stuff, but at the same time, you're good at reading people. You're a fan of psychology and all this stuff. So it's so tough, man. It's a really tough one.
For you, I put read minds. I feel because you love Professor X, and it'd
be a lot easier to get
butt and money.
So had a conversation about that as well.
So for you, the only one I got wrong with you. Well, I don't know if I got any wrong with you actually. Text is the only questionable one, but ultimately, would you rather text or call with more people than that? Majority of the time, what would you rather do?
Well, I mean, in this day and age, I think we all text more than we actually call.
So,
people.
Bam.
It's weird, man.
I know you just a little better than you know me. I got not one wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I got Popcorn, Jim Beam, Live Action, International, More Money, The Hulk, Texting, Night Owl, Scrambled, and Reading Minds.
Yeah, and like I said, some of those are,
I definitely would like to read minds, but I think teleporting would be super dope.
Yeah, it'd save you a lot in gas.
No, my God, yeah. I could just wake up and just, save mileage on my vehicles. Just wake up and teleport to work. If you were going to get in a fight with somebody, you could teleport around them and just mess them up.
Yeah.
I would love to read minds, though. We did pretty good.
Yeah, man, and I think that's, I guess that's going to do it, more or less.
That's going to wrap up mail call?
Yeah, that's basically the last, question, so...
Oh, well, man, this one went out for almost an hour. Sorry I yawned there. It was a long night.
Yeah.
But yeah, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Odds are, if you're still listening to this, you are subscribed, because this is definitely more a service to our subscribers than something I think someone will randomly find on the internet and stay tuned into, because there's a lot of inside jokes and they don't really know us at this point. But if you are new and for some reason you've stuck around this long, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. If nothing else, at the very least, consider giving us a like. It helps us out a ton. Don't forget about the Patreon, and don't forget you can follow us on social media. Mine's super easy. I'm Justin Lloyd, all lowercase, no spaces, no apostrophes, 2 L's in Lloyd, and that gets you my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and... No, that don't get you my Facebook. Sorry. Man, I need to go take a nap. Get you my Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and Periscope. JP, let's hear yours.
J_Radsaw for No, not for Periscope. J_Radsaw for Snapchat and Instagram, and JPSLIM on Periscope.
All right, so yeah, give us a follow, and thank you so much for supporting the channel. Don't forget to leave those questions so that we'll keep mail call going. I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.
Sure enough.